This is Analog Spectrum. These guys are the steam in your calliope, whatever the hell that means.
And we're back. This is Analog Spectrum, and this is Tony, and I'm obviously here with my co-host Doug, and we have a special guest today. You want to introduce him?
Yeah, and it's not Lucy.
Well, Lucy is here also.
Lucy is here, yeah, but the special guest is Andrew, who's my son, who lives in Arizona, and he's kind of a game nerd. All the stuff that you've heard Tony and I talk about on this podcast, Andrew grew up watching and listening in the background to all him and Tony and I playing online, Left 4 Dead and so on. So
all that stuff.
He grew up gaming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Say hi, Andrew. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, like you guys said, I'm Doug's son. Grew up playing games since kind of as long as I could remember. I think my first console was the Xbox that you bought me.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the Xbox.
Playing Burnout and other racing games really is what I started out on.
Yep.
Do you have a focus? Do you have a favorite genre of game?
Right now I'm pretty into like Call of Duty FPS style games, but I wouldn't say I have a favorite. I like all games, to be honest. I play everything.
Very cool.
Just a quick note, so everybody knows. Andrew sounds probably a little funny because he's joining us via Zoom.
Yeah,
he's not in the studio with us. He's in Zoom.
So I'm double recording this. I've got I'm doing it on our podcast hardware and also on Zoom. So maybe this might be a YouTube video. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
So yeah, but anyway, yeah. So with that said, seeing that this was kind of a group effort, what kind of questions do we want to ask Andrew?
Well, when I was kind of inviting him for this, what I basically wanted him to talk about was kind of like where gaming is today in a broad sense, and then also sort of like where. What kind of changes does he see? Because he games much more frequently probably than you and I do, and he's probably more up to date.
You would say that. Plus, we're like 50. It's like
exactly.
Andrew, we've had conversations about like ColecoVision and
stuff you've never heard of. Yeah. So,
what do you mean they closed arcades?
Yeah, exactly.
You're speaking a different language to me right now.
Yeah, exactly. So just tell us kind of like where's the world of gaming right now from your perspective, and tell me about. You were telling me on the phone the other day about some cool stuff that's happening.
Yeah. So, I mean, a broader sense of gaming, to be quite honest with you guys, I have mixed feelings towards it right now. A lot of game studios and developers are releasing games kind of in an unfinished state. It's kind of become the norm right now.
Oh, yeah, that sucks. I hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like really bad right now.
I've seen that on Steam.
Other than that,
yeah.
Other than that, a lot of games graphics have come insanely a long way. What else is there? I mean, I think, like I said, overall graphics are good. Like FPS, first-person shooters have come a long way. Call of Duty is starting to combine. A lot of games are doing this actually. Combine all of their different ventures into one ecosystem. So they released multiplayer is what they started out doing, and now they have battle royales. They're coming out with this new game. This is what I was talking to you about the other day on the phone. This new game mode called DMZ. It's really similar to, if anyone knows what Escape from Tarkov is really similar to that.
Explain that, because I'm not familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically it's, I don't know, I can't remember what they call them. It's like a looter shooter, I'm not sure. Or an extraction game mode, I think. But basically, you drop into this really large open world map, and you have to basically collect stuff from the map and do challenges and stuff like that, and collect loot. And then you have to, the stick is that you have to extract with it. So if you cannot get out of the map, like if you die before you get to a certain position on the map for extraction, you lose everything that you just worked for basically in game.
Okay.
And I think you can stay in game for a long time. So if you get a load of good loot and then end up dying before you extract, you lose all of it.
You lose it.
Lots of risk reward.
And is this a PvP experience or PvE or both?
It's actually both, yeah. So there's players and AI. And from the gameplay that I watched recently, the AI looks actually really impressive.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you on that though. Is it so if you go to collect loot in this extraction mode, and you die, you lose the loot, but is it permadeath? So, in other words, like DayZ, remember DayZ?
Oh God.
Oh man, if you died in that thing, that's it. You literally start from scratch.
Yeah.
Is it that, or do you does your character sort of maintain and then you just lose the loot?
Yeah, it's a mix. So you go in there. I think when you first start, so when the game hasn't even really, the game mode hasn't come out yet. It releases November 16th.
Okay.
But I'm assuming the first time you play, you kind of start off with basically nothing.
Right.
Then you go in there, and you start collecting loot and guns. Like you basically probably start off with like a pistol or a couple guns that you can use.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll go in there, you'll collect things like optics and upgrades for your guns.
Okay.
So, and you can stash those. So you can maintain your character outside of the map, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to go in there and get really, really good loot, you're going to have to load up your character and go into the game with a lot of loot that you've collected over probably hours of gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of risk, to try and go in there with hours and hours of gameplay worth of loot.
Right. So if you bring loot into the game, so you're powerful. But then if you die in game, you lose all of that as well.
Yep.
I see.
So
and there's inventory spaces too and stuff like that. So
and this is a Call of Duty mod or Call of Duty expansion or what?
Yeah, it's a game mode. So it's actually, I'm pretty sure it's going to be free to play as well. So it releases it's like a Warzone variant, I guess. So Call of Duty has like 2 game modes right now. So they have the multiplayer, which is the like $60 you pay for it. It's the multiplayer PvP, 6v6, all that kind of stuff. And then Warzone is a little different, where it's free to play. But the way they make money on that is by selling players like skins for their characters and guns and stuff.
All the micro purchases,
yeah, all those microtransaction stuff. So.
Yeah, so I tell you 2 things you talked about I think are kind of interesting is, first that I'm pretty familiar when you said like they're releasing a lot of games because what platforms are you playing on right now?
So right now I basically only play on my PC actually.
Okay. All right.
I paid a good amount of money to build this, so I'm gonna damn well play on it.
No doubt.
Right.
Well, I like PC gaming. Well, if you're FPSing, that's mouse and
definitely
it
better.
is superior.
Yeah, big time.
Well, there's a debate there now with aim assist with controllers. Pretty
but so I'm going old school maybe, but that's just plain old cheating.
Yeah.
I mean, aim assist, that's cheat. That's whatever.
But like you said, so are you Steam or Epic or where are you grabbing most of your games?
Most of them are on Steam, but Call of Duty specifically is like their own like launcher, their own little BattleNet launcher thing.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you mentioned that as far as I actually saw the onset of that where people were rolling up games that you were pre-alpha.
Yeah.
And they were and Steam just blew up with that stuff.
Yeah.
And there's also sorts of stuff on YouTube right now where you find people talking about doing Kickstarter, and the games never get released.
Cool. Mm-hmm. The thing is, I mean, that's a problem in and of itself of paying $30 for an alpha for a game that never actually gets into any other phase.
Yeah, I did that with DayZ. I did because DayZ. I think it eventually maybe got released, but it took so long. I'm talking years.
There's
and I just gave up.
There's DayZ videos out there right now where like it's they've still built on. There's still people developing for it, and there's different game modes for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bought into that game. I want to say I paid $25 or $30 I paid, and it was still on. I think it was still in alpha, and that was like
6 years ago.
At least that. Yeah. At least
we played it together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's fun.
Yeah, it was. I did a lot of running in that game all by myself. Stretching from one spot to the
sitting
next.
there in your office watching you for hours, just running across the field.
Yeah,
exactly. I tell you, there was one time where and again, just kind of like what you're talking about with the game mode that you're just talking about now, where you collect shit. And I remember like just trying to be easy, trying to be good, not bring any attention to myself. And I went into this barracks and I was collecting something or another. I think I found shotgun shells and some half-eaten shrimp. I don't fucking know.
Right.
But there was all this kind of stuff in there. And
can of beans.
Yeah, exactly. A half-eaten can of peas, so like that. And I turn around and there's a guy standing there and I was thinking, and there's this moment, and it's probably a real-life moment where I was like, what? And he fucking just he eviscerated me. And I was like, son of a bitch. I think I actually turned it off. It was probably a 2:00 in the morning thing, and I turned it off. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Did that game have a proximity chat to where you could hear
Yes.
players that you're close to
it
over
does-
the mic. Dude, that's my favorite feature of gaming.
Really?
It's so funny.
Why is
it's
that?
so funny.
Well,
Because you hear people rage.
yeah. Well, I will tell you, I don't know if it did at the time. I know because again, it's not like I'm, logging on to YouTube and just watching hours and hours of DayZ, but because of, YouTube does that whole thing where like, hey, if you like to watch somebody, fly a kite through a electrical storm, maybe you want to watch somebody play DayZ, and you're like, Jesus, that's so intuitive. Of course I would.
Yeah.
So you start watching it, and anyway, they do have the proximity chat now, because I've seen people playing it where they'll do things like, this is how I built a base. And I don't watch too much. It sounds weird, like that's all I'm doing. It's not. But with that said, I've seen they'll run into other people and they'll start going, I'm a friendly. Don't freaking kill me.
Yeah.
They'll say, I don't want to do this, And it seems like, but when we were playing it, it was just,
It was raw.
It was free for all. It was a free for all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the opposite, similar experience to you, but it was the opposite. I was in a building and I saw a guy. I don't think he saw me. And I saw a guy running. And anyway, for anybody who doesn't know, this map is gigantic.
Yeah.
And there's very few people playing. Like, I don't know, maybe 10 at a time. Because you imagine 10 people in Texas. And so the odds of running into somebody is pretty freaking small. Yeah, that's what it felt like. Yeah. So the odds of bumping into someone was pretty small. But anyway, I was in the building and I was collecting same thing, beans or whatever. And somehow I came across a fire extinguisher. And I saw a guy through the window running around outside, so I just kind of hid. I was hoping he would just run by. Sure enough, he came into my building, so I beamed him with a fire extinguisher. And he was probably pissed, man.
You brained a guy with a fire extinguisher.
Yes.
Jesus, it's fucking psychopathic.
I know. Yeah, whatever.
So
anyway, so
and by the way, Drew, we digress like crazy.
Oh yeah, we do. Yeah, we can't stay on topic to save our lives.
Yeah.
Okay, so cool. Extraction mode. I did want to ask, like, Tony, can you explain? So extraction mode sounded similar to me to something like when you guys would play City of Heroes and you would level up your guy and you would go on these missions and collect stuff. How does this sound different to you?
I don't know, but this actually sounds to me a little bit like, well, for one, even the first part of stuff, the first part of what Andrew mentioned was kind of a lot to kind of go through, because you mentioned Battle Royale, and I think about what's the game that kind of popularized?
Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite's kind of popularized Battle Royale. But I played a lot of Destiny too, and that had kind of a very similar experience. But the whole thing about losing gear is kind of very intimidating to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
It's fun. So I think Destiny 2 is more like a.
It is a looter shooter.
It's like a rating. There's like more of a rating aspect to that. And I think they said they're bringing that to this Call of Duty mode, but in later updates they're bringing it. I think. Yeah. Like a rating aspect.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. On the whole Battle Royale thing, I just remember. I mean, Drew, I think you were little at the time, but you probably remember when I was playing. Unreal Tournament. Yeah, and they had death matches. Yeah, they had death matches and that. And if you went online, and this was the earlier days of the internet, I mean, you could get 25, 30 people playing at a whack.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what it was, a battle royale. But it was teamed though. It was teamed. Red team, blue team.
Yeah, no, it was like large scale team deathmatch right there.
Yeah.
So was cool. So you're hardcore. You're hardcore into PvP though, huh?
I would say hardcore into PvP, but yeah, that's the main thing I play right now. Especially because like they just released the game, so that's what I'm having the most fun with right now. But
I mean, do you find? I mean, that's my issue because and I know this sounds like a bullshit cop out, but I just know that like where I am at in my life, I cannot play PvP. I get killed so easy.
Same.
Yeah,
people like Andrew smoke us and
yeah.
We're like then we rage quit.
So I would still consider myself somewhat of a casual gamer, but
because there's lunatics out there that's they literally spend every dime of their parents' money, and they live in the basement and they play 24/7. So
you can't compete with those guys.
No,
but they have what's called skill based matchmaking.
Oh,
and that's another thing that's up for debate in the community right now. People love it, people hate it. But so it's. They try and group skill level people that have, similar skill levels together in matches so that, everyone has a good experience. So it's not, those guys that can spend 24 hours a day playing don't shit on everyone else. So they'll be in a different bracket.
So do you
But the
assign
problem
yourself
then
your
comes with
skill?
that.
You do you assign yourself your skill level, or does that an
No,
algorithm?
it's like
in
a
the
back
background?
end algorithm.
Okay.
Yeah. So they'll take a bunch of different. So they'll take your kill to death ratio, probably your win to loss ratio,
Right.
probably like maybe even your accuracy. Maybe they'll probably have stats for your accuracy, for your gun.
Why would people?
I'm serious.
Yeah.
The thing that sucks about it though is that at that point, like for me, I can't really have a casual gaming experience because if I wanted to run around, with a knife and a riot shield in Call of Duty and have fun with it and just play around, I then still get matched up against people that are, playing to win. They're really trying hard to win, and I'm just trying to have a casual game. So it kind of ruins that side of the experience.
Right.
But
Well, maybe that's the next suggestion, right? Make that a new game mode, casual game mode.
Well,
no points. Just playing for play.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
What are you talking
Have a
about?
casual and a ranked playlist.
No. Well,
Yeah.
okay.
That's my suggestion.
I will say it's interesting to me that people would be against that. I wonder why people would say, you said there was people that are kind of for it and against it because the only reason I think you would want to be against that is just because you would want to like beat the crap out of people.
You want to own people.
Yeah, want to own people a lot, right? I mean, you want to get better. As far as there not being points, I kind of get what you're saying. My whole thing is that I do want that back end algorithm that if I got better, I would get lined up with people that were
right
my equals.
But like Drew's saying, like he literally, and this is where I differ in generational. I think is kind of what you were alluding to, Tony. Right. I don't play games for that. I don't play games for points and for whatever. I just play totally for me, just for fun, So I don't. This generation, like they take all this stuff so damn seriously,
Sure.
So sometimes I just want to play just for fun. As a matter of fact, Drew, I'm gonna throw this your way. Tell the story about you and I when we lived in California when we used to play GTA. And we used to stitch each other up. We had this little. I think we just invented this at some point.
Yeah, it wasn't even the spoken thing. It just happened.
It just happened. Yeah,
we just started doing it.
Yeah, because we only had one console and we shared it, and we both wanted to play GTA, and then so we were swapping controller back and forth, and then this developed. So I'll let Drew tell you what happened.
So yeah, and I actually just remember how it started. So. Yeah, like you were saying, I think we were sharing like the account. We were sharing the playing on that one account. Yeah. So I think what happened was I had done something, and I think I had to go to school or something like that. So I paused it, and I was in the middle of like a police chase or something with the car like about to hit a tree or something like that, and I had paused it at like the worst possible time and like left to go to school. And then I think you got home from work or something before I got home from school.
Awesome.
Decided you wanted to go, sit down, relax, and play some GTA, and then went to unpause it and got wrecked by.
Yeah, and then I had to try to outrun the police.
Shot up by the cops.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So then it ended up going back and forth.
Back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah.
We started just stitching each other up, trying to put the other guy in the worst situation possible.
Terrible.
When
skydiving. Yeah, you're 15 feet off the ground, your parachute hasn't gone off, that kind of stuff.
That's a game mode.
Yeah, it was fun, man.
That's a game
It was
mode,
fun, yeah.
So.
Yeah, you just pause at the right time and you just leave it. And then one of us would come home, like I would crack up because he would leave me in the shittiest possible. I mean, like, whatever. And I would come home and like,
trying to steal the jet from the military base.
Yeah, how the hell did he get in here? It's like you literally see the bullets paused coming at you. Like, shit, how am I going to get out of this?
You know what that's like? It's almost like somebody has a split personality. Yeah. And one of the other individuals is split personality trying to F the other person.
Yeah. That's kind of what it turned into. It was fun, though. We played that for months, man. Just pause for each other.
It was an ongoing gag for a while.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, what else? What about the future, Drew? Future of games. What's happening there? Where do you see it going?
So I actually looked up a couple games that are coming out that are pretty exciting. So first off, I'll say that this whole releasing unfinished games thing, hopefully, I don't know if it's going to get better, to be honest. And my problem with it is they release games and they don't put a disclaimer like, hey, this is a beta. Right? Right. They release this is a full game. Pay us $70
pay your
for this content.
$60 or $70.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they drip feed you stuff over, and they call it seasonal content when, 10 years ago, that was in the base game that I just paid $70 for, so
right.
It's there's that. So I don't know if that's going to get any better. However, as far as actual games go, there's a lot of cool stuff coming out in the next year. There's, I don't know if you guys have heard of the Kerbal Space Program.
I've played the game on Steam with the little green guys making rocket ships. Yep.
They're coming out with a second one. They've made a bunch of improvements and updates and stuff, and they're coming out with a second one, which looks really fun.
Flipping hard game.
Well, yeah. So I think that's kind of the improvements that they made is they're trying to I think they're making like a mode, like a hand holding mode to like help you.
Right.
Okay.
Because it's like a rocket simulator.
Well, yeah. The whole thing is that you start as like pre-space space exploration. Mm-hmm. Little culture, and you have to guide them through it. And if you don't actually have a background in like physics and rocket science,
you get lost.
And engineering and shit.
It's crazy.
Wow, cool.
It's not like Roller Coaster Tycoon where you're just like slapping rockets on a shopping cart, praying for the best.
Yeah.
Because that thing's it's not going to space.
So. If you put a fin like 2 degrees in the wrong place, you're dying. All your little green men are dying.
Yeah, they kill a lot of people.
Okay, cool.
But they play into that too, though. The little green guys are fun.
Yeah,
they have like
Yeah, and I like that because I think that was an independent gaming company that made that. It was a AAA title.
I think so too.
Yeah. So
there's the second one of that's coming out, so that looks really fun. I'm kind of a Harry Potter nerd, so they're coming out with a Harry Potter game.
Oh yeah, I've heard
it's
about
called
that.
Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
Actually, so they just literally, I looked it up on YouTube today, and like 22 hours ago, they released almost like an hour's worth of gameplay footage. And from what I saw, it looks insanely good.
Okay. Is that like an origin story type of deal, or?
No, it looks like kind of like an RPG, like a Witcher style, or like if you ever played the Fable games on Xbox.
Yeah.
No, I played The Witcher. I haven't played the Fable stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it looks kind of like those.
Okay.
I've not seen any.
You create your own character.
Cool. Yeah, I've never seen any gameplay footage or anything. So you don't play Harry Potter, but you just play. You're a Hogwarts student or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
so set in the universe, but you're not character.
No.
Yes. Yeah. You're your own character basically.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I have not seen any gameplay footage or read much about it, but I have seen some stuff in the background that people are kind of going crazy about that.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Just from what I saw today, it looks. I wasn't that excited about it just because I think it's a PlayStation exclusive as well.
Oh,
so
okay.
But from what I saw today, I might be also spending an extra $300-something to buy PlayStation because it looked really, really good. So it looked really, really good.
Well, there's some. I don't know. And again, I don't want to open up this can of worms debate, Xbox versus PlayStation or whatever. But from just my personal perspective, PlayStation gets the best like exclusives. Like the PlayStation exclusives, I tend to like those games better than the Xbox exclusive. Like Halo, and I played the very first one when it very first came out. Yeah, it was okay. And all the gazillion ones after that was me. It was just a rehash, Right. But a lot of the PlayStation exclusives, I really like the games. They're just so huge and they're well thought out, and the stories are good. Again, that's just personal choice.
Let's drill down. Let's digress into this because it's an interesting topic. I mean, because when you think about, you have PC, you have Xbox, you have PlayStation, and then you have Nintendo, and because I have the last generation Xbox, and of course you and I bought the 5 at the same time. PlayStation, the last Nintendo I owned was the one with the little rectangular controller.
Little tiny ones,
and of course I'm along with Drew on the PC. I like PC gaming. I don't have a really powerful PC right now, but if it's going to be a FPS, and I agree with you too. I don't want to be. I hate playing an FPS with a controller.
I know. I can't do it. I can't do it. My left thumb sucks, man.
I know.
Yeah, I just can't aim to save my life.
I don't know how.
I can shoot like crazy, but I can't aim.
You can pull the trigger.
I feel bullets everywhere except where they're supposed to go.
It's a learning curve.
I've been on that curve for 10 years.
Exactly.
15 years.
Exactly. It's a curve I'm not getting on anymore. But so it's funny because one of my friends kind of turned me on to Destiny 2, and he was on either the Xbox or the PlayStation, and I played it on there for I think I paid like $50 for it, and then I played it for like an hour on the PlayStation, and then went over to Steam and bought it like immediately. And I spent like $100 on that stupid game, and I love it. I haven't played in a while
on the console,
on
on the PC.
On the PC, And so The nice thing about Xbox is there's kind of that Xbox PC crossover.
Right.
So if you buy a game on Xbox, you can get it over on PC.
Yeah, I wish PlayStation would be better about that.
But to your point, I don't disagree. It's hard for me to really talk about games who's got the better exclusives. As far as like consoles, I think I'm like the game we're going to talk about, Little Nightmares. I could get it on the Xbox or the PlayStation, but it was cheaper on the Xbox. So I just bought it on the Xbox and played it on the Xbox.
Yeah, but that one's it's so basic it doesn't matter what you play it on. Yeah.
Well, platformers too. Give me a controller all day long.
Right. Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. But so I guess my point being is I think I see, and I'm not going to say anything that's going to rock the world. Of those three, it's such a pros and cons type thing, So, but
we could have this discussion all day, but I think that the people that run those companies have come such a long way with consoles. I mean, they've gotten so much better. And the ability to have those massive hard drives, you can have all your games. That was always one of the benefits of the PC. Like, I got 20 games on here. I don't have to put in a disc every time I want to play, wait for the thing to load and all of that. Downloadable content and all that stuff.
Well, it's interesting.
The size of games these days are...
I know, you need some massive storage.
Yeah. Well, back when Doug and I first became friends in Florida, like 1992, I think I made a comment to him that he agreed with. Is like, the day is going to come where I can just plug my head into a... I'm gonna have a plug in my neck and just
Matrix style.
Yeah,
Matrix style.
Yeah, and damned if that isn't coming close. Some of the graphics nowadays,
it's nuts, man.
The new Unreal Engine is shocking.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Yeah.
Forbidden West, Horizon for Forbidden West is jeez, man. If you put that thing on full resolution, it is just stunning. Yeah. Some of the scenery is crazy good.
I remember like playing like Pole Position in the arcade, going like, man, they got some amazing Formula One graphics.
Formula One graphics.
Oh my God! Now it's like I think I was watching.
Look that up, Drew. Look that up. Pole Position. You need to look at. That's where me and Tony started our video game genre.
And thinking that they couldn't go. We couldn't go any further. Yeah. And then now I think I saw a video the other day of a video game that was guys racing on motorcycles. And at first,
it looks real.
Yeah, at first I just thought it was
totally real.
I just thought it was a TV show, people racing motorcycles.
Yeah, you can't tell sometimes.
Yeah, freaking,
it's crazy.
Yeah, that yes, definitely.
Yeah. So, anything else new coming out that you're looking forward to, Drew? Because we're going to talk about Little Nightmares next. So, I want to make sure you get your digs in here.
Let me see. One more thing it's a kind of a niche game actually. It's called Test Drive Unlimited. I don't know if either of you guys have heard of it at all.
Clearly a car game.
Yeah, Test Drive.
Yes, it is a car game.
Wasn't there a Test Drive arcade game?
Maybe. What's the concept, Drew?
There might have been.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't even remember because the last one was so long ago on the Xbox 360. I'm pretty sure I played it on.
Wow.
But it's like you basically. I'm pretty sure you're just trying to build a car collection. I don't even know what the purpose is. It's like just pretty sure you drive around. There's like what's it called? Like driver's license requirements.
Okay.
So I think you have to take like different driver's tests to like get up into a specific category of cars. If you want to buy a Bugatti, you got to take like 6 different driver's license tests with 6 different cars before you can get to the Bugatti, stuff like that. Okay. I don't know really what the purpose of the actual game is, if there's a story or anything like that. But I just remember the actual cars, the models of the cars and stuff were really good for back in the day.
Right.
So I remember that's why I liked it. And they're coming out with a new, it's called Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown or something like that. And they haven't really said much about it, but it's supposed to be releasing 2023, I think, or 2024.
Okay,
cool.
So I'm looking forward to that one too.
Yeah, driving games are kind of your wheelhouse. No pun intended.
No pun intended. Yeah.
So you've
been playing this since he was little.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So I think it was easy. I mean, we used to play Scale Electric. Real life cars on the track and stuff. And I don't think it took Andrew maybe like, I don't know, when we first set up, he could have been like 4 years old, 5 years old. I don't think it took him like maybe 10 laps. And at that age, he had trigger control to be able to not go off the track. Most little kids, they just fly off the track, Yeah. And it took him about 10, maybe 15 laps, and he had trigger control. And then he was like literally racing me. And I'm like, you little shit.
Nice.
Of course, I could whip him for a while.
Let's go,
Then
man.
by the
Come
time he
on.
got 7, that was it. I was done.
Right.
So,
That's pretty awesome.
yeah, that was good.
But yeah.
Anyway, cool. Well, Drew, feel free to stick around. We're going to talk about Little Nightmares. If you want to stick around, feel free. Otherwise, you can bail out. It's up to you.
Yeah, or maybe so. Well, honest to gosh, this will probably digress into things that you know about. You're more than welcome to stick.
Most likely.
For sure.
Yeah, I'll stick around. Why not?
Cool.
I got nothing better to do.
Nice. All right. So
I just ate too, so I'm not hungry.
All right. If we hear snoring, it's not Lucy.
no. If it sounds like a pig, it's Lucy.
Yeah, it's Lucy. Yeah.
So, cool. All right. So and just a little background on this. We're always looking for new topics, as everyone knows. And a while ago, and Doug is over movies right now.
Well, yes, we did too many. It's too many.
Yeah.
MASH killed me. I had to.
Oh shit! Here he goes.
I think I told you. I had to go watch the Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid just to bring
Dude,
my.
I can't even believe you were like, dude. When I went back and listened to that podcast, I was like, dude, new rule: you can't give me shitty movies.
Yeah, no more shitty movies.
That's
that movie's terrible. Anyway, and by the way, I did not miss your secretly recorded intro that the police suck. Just so you know,
I did not say suck.
It's the power of editing. The editor has power.
It is. So, but anyway, that was for you. Anyway,
yeah, I know. I caught that. So.
All right. So anyway, so Doug was kind of over movies, which honestly, I'm totally cool with that. So he was like, well, let's hook up with a game. And I guess you had downloaded Little Nightmares.
Yeah, and I had seen clips of this again,
Right.
just like you're talking about the YouTube rabbit hole, right? I'd seen clips, and it looked kind of interesting. And what I liked about it was the visuals. I liked the art style.
Sure.
And so I thought, and I just was cruising around PlayStation Store, and I thought, oh shoot, you get both games, 1 and 2 for $20 or something. Like, I'll try it. And I wasn't even. I don't think I was 5 minutes in. And I thought, that's it. This is a podcast, man. I got to call Tony. This was great, man.
Yeah. One thing we did kind of screw up on is that you played 2 and I played 1.
Yes.
So
I don't know what happened, man. I downloaded them and it just like 2 launched, and so I just started playing whatever launched. And I didn't pay any attention to it.
And this is going to be kind of freaking everybody out. 2 is actually a prequel to 1, so I don't know who's playing what right now.
What did you say? Say that.
2 is a prequel. I looked it up.
Oh, it's
2
a prequel.
Yeah. So
I didn't follow the story at all.
There's a story, but you're not supposed to actually know the story. And I think it's kind of we can go from here into just talking about horror video games because just a little background as the title kind of would lead one to believe it is like a horror type game.
Yeah. Platformer-ish.
Yeah, they call it a 2.5D puzzle platformer.
Okay, yeah.
Which makes sense because you can move.
Yeah, it does have dimension. You can go for,
exactly.
deeper into the scenery and stuff. But it is mostly a platformer, and it's mostly just a puzzle-solving game.
Yeah.
You go from one scene to the next, and you have to figure out how to do stuff, how to open the door, or how to avoid being killed by gnomes or leeches or whatever.
Right, right.
And so there's some jump puzzles in there, which I typically don't like, but I actually enjoyed them in this one. But it's mostly just solving logic puzzles.
Yeah,
mostly.
Yeah, and just a little bit about and what I know about. Did you play number 2 all the way through yet? Or?
No, I didn't play either one of them all the way through. Well, once we discovered we were playing 2 different versions, I went back and started playing 1.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
I've got experience with both of them at this point.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I have played not because there's DLC for it, but I played just the base game 1 all the way through 5 levels or 5 whatever you want to call
Scenes or whatever it is. Yeah,
stages. Yeah,
stages,
sure. Yeah. And played it all the way through, and so and you play as and I didn't know this until because same thing. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I went and kind of looked it up and did a real quick Wikipedia read. You play as a little girl, so that's a little girl.
Okay.
She's in a little yellow raincoat. All you have is like her bare legs and feet sticking out from the bottom of it, and her only possession is a cigarette lighter, right? A lighter, and got no weapons. I did like you. I love like the muted tones in it. You know how it was all kind of gray except for her little yellow raincoat. And it's kind of, it's got that kind of dark but whimsical kind of thing,
Right.
And the whole thing takes place on a ship, like a big vessel, right?
Right. Yeah.
And
because you could see the scenery rocking back and forth, kind of as
that's
you're playing.
You play that. That's part of the play.
You use that in part of the physics
exactly.
of the game. Yeah.
But yeah, it's straight up creepy.
Yeah, the thing that I liked about it reminds me kind of like, I think I was telling Andrew on the phone the other day, it's sort of like, I don't even know where the artwork comes from, who the studio is, but it's sort of like grotesque French stuff. And it's like, I don't know, there's characters with gigantic long arms and gigantic long necks and stuff, and it's just bizarre, weird. You come into the, you're running from left to right, and you come into the scene, and just in the distance you can see like old style hospital beds chained up and hanging from the ceiling and stuff. And this is a weird, bizarre stuff, and you're like, what the crap, man?
Yeah, or like things hanging from the ceiling is like, are those bodies?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, wrapped up mummy type things.
Exactly. Yeah,
there's blood streaks all over the floor, and it's weird. But what's kind of neat is that I didn't realize this the first probably 25 or 30 minutes I was playing. But if you're patient, and this is a slow game, it is not action-packed kind of thing. But if you're patient, what you can do is, if you can't solve a puzzle, if you can't figure out what to do, you just walk around a little bit, and that little girl's head will look in the direction of. It kind of gives you a clue. Yeah. Okay. So if you're supposed to move a box, for example, and you walk past the box, her eyes will follow the box. But it's very subtle, so you have to pay attention for it.
Right.
But if you're one of those gamers that's like, you just blast through, you miss that. And I tend to do that sometimes, but I get stuck. I get like, these puzzles are difficult. And it's not like the puzzle itself is hard. It's like figuring out how to start the puzzle, because there's no instructions. There's nothing. You just start the game and start playing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so you'll go into a room, and you don't know what you can interact with some of the objects, and like, for example, you can pick up a shoe.
But it doesn't do anything.
There's 5 shoes laying on the floor, and you can pick them up and you can throw them, but they don't do anything.
Right.
So you don't, but then there's a box, and you can actually move the box, but you don't know you can move the box because it doesn't say you can move the box.
Right. Or you throw the shoe. It doesn't seem like you need to throw the shoe, but the real point is to throw the shoe at some button.
Yeah, there's a button on the wall, and if you throw the shoe just right, you hit the button, and then the door opens and whatever. So, but you got to figure all that out yourself, and that's kind of one of the things I like about it.
I will tell you, I was able to play the first stages all the way through without like looking anything up.
Oh, not me.
Oh, yeah.
I've had to look up like 3 things.
No, so I didn't get all the way through it, and then I got to, and of course the first DLC you play as a different character. And I got all the way to the end of the first series of stages and that, and it was just like what am I supposed to do here? What am I supposed to do here? And there was something I was supposed to do, and I think I figured it out right, but just because I'm not all that graceful when it comes to that stuff, I figured I wasn't doing it right, so I looked it up, and it was like no, I had the right idea.
Nice.
It's just that I don't freaking know how to make it work,
Right, yeah.
And this is a game where you have to kind of turn off that completist side of
you do,
because you're just not going to get there.
The other thing I found about the game is that it's not like, it is dimensional, 2.5 dimensional. So if you're running left to right, for example, there was one bridge.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things that makes the second one different, have you played the second one at all?
Not at all.
Okay, so one of the things that makes the second one interesting and more different than the first one is you play 2 characters. Mm-hmm. You play them both, your co-op, and you can send one character off to do something while the other character stands by, and then you can switch back to the other guy and play. So you work together, and that's kind of an interesting. Well, anyway, there's this one scene where there's a gap and there's a broken bridge. And so one of your characters can lift up part of the bridge, and then the other character can make the jump. But then the first character lets go of the lever, and the bridge falls. So you have to make this big old long jump that you can't really physically make. So, and again, if you're patient, you can call out to your buddy, and then your buddy will go over to the landing spot and grab the bridge and like lean over and hold his hand out. So you have to make the leap of faith, and he'll catch you.
Damn.
But I couldn't, because it's 2.5D, I couldn't land the jump for nothing. I kept jumping off the cliff. I must have died there 50 times.
Dude, I've had one.
I could not land it where I was supposed to land it to save my life.
On that DLC, there's one where you have to run from leeches and climb up a wall. And I knew that's what I was supposed to fucking do, right? But damn, I was like like a freaking moron, man. It was
Yeah.
like I kept hitting that damn thing to climb, and he kept falling off, and I was like, talk about rage quitting, Drew. I was just like, my wife was like, what's going on up there? Like, she's like, are you okay? And you come back downstairs, and she's like, would you like dinner? And I was like, I don't know what the hell I want right now. It's like, quit asking me questions,
There's a few scenes that I remember in particular from the first one that I thought were so spooky and weird. And there was one where you come into a room and you start on the left of the screen, you start on a platform, and then you fall down. It's not very far, but you fall down, and you're literally in a sea of shoes.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of like the Holocaust Museum, right,
Yeah.
where there's a million shoes in a room. And floating in this sea of shoes is a couple of suitcases.
Yeah.
And the objective is you have to get through this sea of shoes and jump onto the kind of the dog is Shit.
Lucy.
And Lucy's tail. You have to jump onto these suitcases in a little safety zone. Well, the first time you fall off into the shoes and you start walking, then shoes from the other part of the room start moving, and it's like a shark that's coming after you, coming to get you, and you never see the bad guy. It's just shoes. You could tell like there's this mass coming after you. Oh shit! Then you start running and trying to jump on the things. And, that was great, man. I love that.
Yeah, that leech thing was like that in the DLC.
Yeah.
Same way. But
the creepy bad guys, the characters that are in. Oh my gosh, man!
Have you gotten to the chefs yet?
Yes.
Yeah. The chefs are crazy.
Oh
there's
man.
There's actually two of them, believe it or not.
I know. I woke one of them up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So you're further along.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got to the part spoiler alert, I guess. But you know how the little girl gets hungry.
Yeah.
And she eats like rats and
Eat
whatever.
rats and stuff.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But there's a scene where she comes up to a gnome, and the gnome is because you can hug the gnomes. I didn't know that. I don't know why.
I could never catch them. They run away.
I've only caught one, and not on purpose. He just like, but I know.
Dude, you laugh. Drew's laughing at us, everybody. I could see him on the camera. He's laughing.
Games, so just hearing it from the outside, it sounds funny.
Yeah,
you
got to play this thing. It's like
playing,
this is crazy.
He's like playing Call of Duty.
Yeah,
like
just chasing gnomes around.
Yeah, it's like he's got his AR. And he's basically picking. We're like going, no. Basically, what you have to do is you have to pick flowers.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I guess you're like friends with the gnomes. I don't know, but there's a scene where you get through one level and this gnome, you're hungry, and the gnome is like holding up a sausage for you to eat, and you like slap the sausage out of the gnome's hand and you eat the gnome.
Oh, awesome!
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
So
as you're playing, for those who are unfamiliar, as you're playing, the character will kind of double over.
Yes.
And you'll slow down, and she'll double over in pain, like her stomach hurts.
Yeah.
And the first time it happens, I had no clue what's happening. By the second or third time, you get it. But then you find a little piece of bread and you eat the bread or whatever.
Right.
Well, the second or third time, you get hungry, and you come over and there's a rat stuck in a trap, like a dead rat and that's what you eat.
Right.
As you eat the dead rat out of the trap. And it's like, that's kind of nasty. Why, where's my bread? What bread? I don't want to eat a dead rat.
And when you get hungry, the game doesn't give you any options.
No,
whatever you come across.
Options.
I mean,
that's
and it's clearly lined up to happen at certain times.
Yeah.
But and there's a part where somebody feeds you through these bars. And
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
A person never pops back up. I don't know.
So I got to tell you, Tony, you got to play the second one. And the school teacher, I think, is even creepier than the guy with the long arms.
Yeah, the janitor.
Yeah. This dude with the long arms, he only went by smell. His eyes were covered up like he was blind.
Or noise too.
Noise, he could hear, and his smell was real good. But he had these gigantic, long, skinny arms, and he would just feel around. And if you were anywhere near him, it's like he'd just snatch you up.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know, man. It is weird. It is super, super weird and creepy.
Yeah, it definitely takes a lot of pages from the whole survival horror thing anyway, where everything is kind of, obviously kind of in disrepair, or flooded or whatever.
Yeah.
I love
lots of dystopian,
Yeah, I loved it.
But the second one, that school teacher, I didn't get very far because I switched to the first one when I realized we weren't playing the same game.
Right.
But the school teacher in that second one is just super creepy, man. Yeah. She's got the neck. So you're like three apartment buildings or apartments up.
Right.
And she sticks her head all the way up through. And it's nuts, man.
Nice.
She comes after you and she eats you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so you're about ready to get to a part where people eat you in the first one too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So if you're not there yet,
I'm about to get there, I think.
So it's I don't know. Like to me, another thing about you just talk about the whole, ambiance of the thing. I like the ship thing. That was very cool to me.
Yeah.
So
and you have to use the motion of the ship sometimes to push things around.
And the way it
use
looked,
the gravity.
the way it looked was. There's also a part where and you may not have gotten there yet, where you go outside the ship, and you know how there's sometimes where you'll climb something or you go up a landing, and the camera zooms way out. And that's very cool.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah, and that happens in that part where you have to climb up an anchor chain or something.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And I know we don't talk about it a whole lot when we talk about games, and Drew, you can chime in on this one too, especially with FPS games. But the music in this game was great.
Yeah.
The sound effects and the music are super, super cool.
Yeah.
And I can just remember the first time I really, like something like that really struck me was Left 4 Dead.
Oh, yeah.
I love the music in that. That was just so, I don't know, it got me.
I love Left 4 Dead.
Yeah. And then Resident Evil as well in the horror genre.
Yeah, I was thinking about Resident Evil too. Have you played Resident Evil, Drew? Any of this game?
Which one?
I
played a bunch of them.
Yeah, I bet.
You played 5, didn't you, Drew? That one you really liked like a year or two ago?
Which one was it? What did they do?
That was Res 7.
7.
Oh. Have you played the one? Have you played the Resident Evil where you're like in some sort of like, country, like back in the backwoods of America, and
I think that's Resident Evil 7, the more recent one.
I think it was definitely recent. I did play it. I played it all the way through, but it rather than being like in Europe or some Raccoon City or something. It's I don't Resident Evil does whatever the hell it wants, right?
Yeah.
And you're in like this kind of the bayou of Louisiana, and you're looking for your girlfriend or some crap. Of course, it's totally Resident Evil. Is that 7?
So scary.
It is. That's also one where you're like, oh my God, I'm killing my girlfriend with a shovel. Why am I clubbing my girlfriend with a shovel? It's like one of those, And that one has jump scares galore that are just excellent,
That's awesome.
Yeah, if you ever, that's a great. And there's been I can just remember the very first games where, like Silent Hill and things like that.
I remember you liked Silent Hill a lot. I talked about it. What's the one with the dude in the dive helmet?
Oh, BioShock.
BioShock. Yeah, I know you like that one too. I never even played that game.
Oh, so good.
Yeah,
so good. But yeah, I remember like Silent Hill. I think it was Silent Hill, where you were like sometimes you'd be playing it real late at night. And again, let's be clear, this is like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And so graphics weren't great, but you're playing this game and you're thinking, I'm a little concerned that I might be opening up a doorway to hell.
Yeah.
You're like, I hope I'm not about ready to be possessed. Because there's just such, I remember the first time in Silent Hill, because you're already in like some hospital.
Right. Psycho ward or something.
Yeah. And the wallpaper's peeling and they got the old school wheelchair and all that stuff flipped over. And you got the nurses that are doing the crab walk, which... Just kill it. You know what I mean? Just kill it. When they crab walk, I don't give a shit.
That's it.
I just want to club
going
them.
Down. Yep.
Yeah. And but then you open up a door and it's clearly like, the walls are bleeding, and there's, torture victims hanging on the wall. And you're like, that's not okay.
Yeah.
I can't do that at 2:00 in the morning.
No, exactly.
So, but yeah.
Well, it's that immersion effect, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's awesome.
Yeah. This would have been good for our Halloween episode.
Yeah. No doubt.
Because that shit scares me. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, so that's it. If anybody wants to play it's not hard. The game is not difficult to play. It's left and right, jump and flashlight.
Sounds like Tony had a problem playing it.
We all did. Doug did too.
Well, no. So what I'm saying is the mechanics.
I know, I'm messing.
Yeah, the mechanics aren't hard, but it is difficult to figure out some of those puzzles. It is, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's really fun, and it's pretty. It's a lot bigger than I thought it was.
Yeah.
It's pretty big because I played. I can't remember the name. Not Stay. That's the one with the cat. I played a couple others by a similar style and design, and they were pretty small. Mm-hmm. But this thing, I played through that whole first scene and partway through the second scene. I'm like, man, I got a long way to go still.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, I know. Well, and one thing that did, and probably I meant to mention this. The one thing that did make it difficult, a little up the difficulty, was that 2.5. Like again, you were kind of mentioning, like where you were trying to grab somebody. There were times where like you would run along a bridge, and you would just fall off the right side of it or left side of it.
Yeah, running off at a little bit different angle.
But I agree for the cost, especially now. I think it was on sale on Xbox, and you got it on sale on PlayStation. I think I missed the PlayStation sale, but $20, lots of content.
Yeah, hours and hours and hours of fun.
Yeah, probably done by a smaller developer. It's not a AAA. Oh, it's Bandy, but I don't think it's a AAA developer. So good for them.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
Cool stuff.
Cool. Hey, so Andrew, thanks for joining us
Yes.
today. And I also want to say
thanks
that
for having me.
yeah, you bet. I'd like to make it a regular thing.
Yeah.
So that way, you can talk about whatever's going on. Especially this, I'd like to get an update on how this game mode goes.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely come back and let you guys know how it goes. It's it does release on my girlfriend's birthday, so I won't be able to play it right as it comes out. But
Oh, come on. It's a compromise has started already.
Priorities, bro.
I know.
So
I'll just cook her a nice dinner and send her to bed, and then come
do
upstairs late at night and
the
play.
letters P and W mean anything to you?
PlayStation 1.
So yeah,
But I'll come back and let you know.
sounds golden.
Sweet.
Yeah, I love it. So all right, well,
All right, we're out of here.
all right. Thank you very much. I hope everybody has a great day.
See ya.
Bye. This has been an Analog Spectrum production and presentation. We appreciate you listening to our podcast. It means a lot to both me and Doug. As always, we're looking for topic suggestions, folks to interview, and friends to join us on the show. If you can help with any or all of these, go ahead and send a quick note to Analog Spectrum, that's all one word, at gmail.com. Are you curious about our past uploads? Go check out our website. You'll find the link in the description. Finally, for any cast you've enjoyed, please leave a comment and a review. For that last part, it would mean a lot to us if you would make it 5 stars. And don't forget to share us with your friends and family. Thanks again for taking time out of your busy day and spending time with us. There's nothing better than hanging out with you and all our friends in this crazy Analog Spectrum world.